weren't they majestic, wonderful, beautiful creatures and deadly as well, but so worth preserving. We hope we can do all we can to help these lions to survive in the wild. Let's see how well you were listening. Let's have our first question. The lion there was described as the, and put your hand up if you know, don't call out, the what of all beasts? What was it described as? The something of all animals. What do you think? King, that's right, Glenda, well done, king, correct. Top of the class. And what were we told a group of lions is called? Maybe you know this one. A pride, that's right, a pride of lions, well done. And what were we told might lead the lions to show them where the dead animals for food might be? Can you remember? What do you think it was? Do you want to call out? Vultures, that's right, vultures, well done. And in the pride, who does most of the hunting? Why are you laughing there, Gordon? Are you sure? Yeah, let's hear the right answer. That's right, the lionesses, they do the hunting, don't they? Well done. Now here's a numbers one. The roar of a lion can travel for more than how many miles? Or kilometres? Katrina?
5 miles.
Well done, 5 miles or 8 kilometres. Now I know that's true because we used to live near the Cotswold Wildlife Park. We used to live about 3 miles away from there. And on certain days we could hear the lions from that distance. Amazing. And the last question, lions sleep a lot, but how many hours a day were we told that lions can sleep up to? Anyone who hasn't answered yet? Ivan, Albert, can you? That's right, up to 20 hours. Did anybody else like that? Anybody else like that much sleep? Oh, well, no names. Yeah, teenagers, did somebody say? Well, we're going to hear in our Bible story now. Can you guess which Bible story it's going to be?
Daniel and the lions.
Oh, you're right. Daniel and the lion's den today.
One of my favourites when
Oh.
I was growing up.
Oh, good. Well, this one's just for you today. There you go. Yeah, one of your favourites. Great. So, we're going to listen to the story that Sally is going to read to us. And as we'll hear, Daniel dared to be different because of his faith in God. So, thank you, Sally.
Today's Bible story is found in the book of Daniel, chapter 6. It happened like this. The king Darius made Daniel one of his 3 helpers. The king was so impressed with Daniel that he was planning on putting Daniel in charge of the whole kingdom. Some of the other leaders wanted to find something wrong with Daniel, but Daniel was trustworthy and they could find no fault in him. So the leaders came to King Darius and got him to make a new rule. The rule said that for 30 days no one could pray to any god or man other than the king. Rule breakers would have to be thrown in a den of lions. This new rule did not keep Daniel from praying to the one true God. Daniel prayed 3 times a day to God. The leaders saw Daniel praying and they told the king. The king was sad that it was Daniel who was not following the rule, and he ordered that Daniel must be thrown in a den of lions. The king said to Daniel, "May God protect you," and a stone was placed over the opening of the den. The king could not sleep that night. He was worried about Daniel. In the morning, the king went to the lion's den. The king called out to Daniel, saying, "Has your God been able to rescue you?" And Daniel called out to the king, saying, "O king, live forever. My God has sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They did not hurt me because I didn't do anything wrong." The king was very happy and gave orders to pull Daniel out of the lion's den. Now the king knew that Daniel served the living God, who was God over all.
Thank you, Sally. So we're going to sing, and I think the only song that can follow that story is about being bold, strong and courageous. So we're going to sing a golden oldie. We're going to sing Be Bold, Be Strong. So I invite you to stand if you're able.
We're going to watch a DVD of the Bible story of Daniel, and this includes the story we heard, but just goes back a little bit in the story to tell us a little bit more about Daniel and his faith in God and how he was bold and strong.
Daniel was one of God's people who was a slave in Babylon. But God had blessed him with power to understand dreams. Years ago, he had even helped a king of Babylon understand a dream. But now there was a new king in Babylon. One night, Belshazzar gave a banquet for many important people. Suddenly, a hand appeared and began writing on the wall in words that no one could read. The king was very scared. But the king's mother remembered Daniel.
There is a man in your kingdom who has the spirit of the holy God in him. Call for Daniel. He will tell you what the writing on the wall means.
God has counted the days until your kingdom will end. You have been weighed on the scales and found not good enough. Your kingdom will be given to the Medes and the Persians.
That very same night, Belshazzar was killed. A man named Darius the Mede became the new king. It all happened exactly as Daniel had said. In time, Daniel went to work for the new king, even though he served the God of Israel. Some men from the new kingdom of the Medes were jealous of Daniel and wanted to get rid of him. So they tricked Darius into making a rule that people could only pray to the king. If someone broke the rule, he would be thrown into the lion's den. But Daniel went to his house, got down on his knees, and prayed to God, just as he had always done. So the men caught Daniel praying to God and told the king. The king was sad because he liked Daniel, but he couldn't change the law.
May the God you serve all the time save you.
So Daniel was thrown into a den of hungry lions, and a huge stone was rolled over the entrance. But God sent an angel to close the mouths of the lions so they couldn't bite. Early in the morning, the king came to the lion's den.
Daniel, has your God been able to save you from the lions?
Yes, my king. God sent his angel to close the lions' mouths. They have not hurt me, because I am innocent.
And that's how God saved the man who trusted in him.
going to put on the screen now a short rhyme that has some actions. Daniel always stopped to pray, many, many times a day. Thrown into the lion's pit, God kept Daniel from being bit. Do you think we'll be able to do that with those actions? Daniel always stopped to pray many, many times a day. Thrown into the lion's pit, God kept Daniel from being bit. Okay, let's do that one last time. Okay? Daniel always stopped to pray many, many times a day. Thrown into the lion's pit, God kept Daniel from being bit. Well done. So much in that story, and just hearing it again, Daniel being thrown down into the pit with a big stone rolled over, protected. It just came to me about Jesus being sealed in the tomb when he died. It reminded me of that, and how Jesus fought off the great lions of death that would devour us, and came back to life, protected by the angel of the Lord, came back to life again. Wonderful things, isn't there? We can read back into the Old Testament from the Gospels and the New Testament. Well, Claire's just going to come now and read to us a short reflection on this story and help us to think about how God was faithful in other ways.
When we read the Bible, we discover that God called people to do difficult things, but God promised to help them and showed them what to do and what to say. For example, the Lord said to Joshua, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened or dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." And as we have seen, God was faithful to Daniel and kept him safe. Daniel was taken out of the lion's den unharmed because he had trusted in his God. In Lent and Easter, we remember how Jesus was strong and brave in the face of his enemies. He was delivered from the grave, just as Daniel was delivered from the lion's den. The risen Jesus told his disciples that they would be his witnesses. Standing up for Jesus and being his witnesses would bring trouble and opposition to the disciples. As they spread the good news about Jesus, some would laugh at their faith, some would persecute them. Rulers would put them in prison or even have them killed. But Jesus promised that he would be with them always, even to the end of the age, even to the end of their lives. In life and in death they belonged to the Lord. These men, women and children were giants of faith. What about us? Who inspires us to stand up for Jesus today? You too can be a giant of faith. Jesus will always be with you.
So we heard there about God's faithfulness to generations, to people, to all the different characters that we read about in the Old Testament. And isn't it great in Sunday Club that we have that opportunity to explore more? And I'm sure you remember many stories that you've learned that have stayed with you throughout the years of God's faithfulness and goodness to his people. So we're going to sing a song now. It's going to be on the video, but we're going to sing the chorus to you so that it's not so new. I think most of the children and a lot of parents might know this song already. But the words are very simple. The words are, "Thank you, oh thank you, that all through history you are faithful. Thank you, oh thank you, that you are just the same when it comes to me." So this is how the chorus goes. Oh thank you, that all through history you were faithful. Thank you, oh thank you, that you are just the same when it comes to me. When it comes to me. So there we go, very easy words. We're going to stand, we're going to appreciate the video, we're going to remember all the different stories that we've heard in our childhood and perhaps that we're learning for the first time now. And there are a few actions. We'll add more as we do this song more and more, but basically one action that you could do is the Lord was good, so can we have 2 thumbs up? The Lord was strong, and then Moses or Noah or Daniel, whoever we're thinking about, lived his life for him, so we're going to point to God. So the Lord was good, the Lord was strong, and then we're going to point to God. Okay, so let's stand up, let's enjoy this song together and learn.